Hey YouTubers, got another video review for you today. So if you're anything like me, you've got a garden hose, you hate seeing the thing just thrown on the ground and look, it's a mess. I've been to Tractor Supply several times and bought different type. The first one that I bought was one of the four-wheeled kind, like I'm going to be reviewing today. And the problem that I had with the four-wheel cart from Tractor Supply was when I got it, it looked great. The paint job on it looked amazing. It was green. It had four wheels on it, and it held like a lot of hose. But after about 1 year of having the thing just set outside, you know, with hose on it, the first thing that I noticed is it rusted almost immediately. Second thing that I noticed was the tires all went flat within a year, and I was constantly putting air in them. And yes, I could have replaced the tires, but if I'd have did that, I would have had probably another $100 in it. Anyways, I was searching around on Amazon one night, and I seen a company that had just come out with this this hose reel here. There was no reviews on it or anything, and so I thought, well, let's reach out. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the reason why I wanted this hose reel was because, number one, it was made out of stainless steel, so it shouldn't rust on you. Number two, it's got the type of tires that won't never go flat on you. And then, you know, I thought it was a nice looking hose reel. So I'm gonna quit talking and I'm gonna get to opening. I've not opened it, not seen it. This will be my first time seeing it with you guys. Like I said, it come from Amazon. Now I will say this is not a cheap product. I think this thing's around $300 and almost $400. $390 something. I don't know if that price will stay the same or what, but it's a lot more expensive than the ones I was getting from Tractor Supply, but it should be a lot more premium. So I just wanted to show you, this is the way it comes packed. I don't know if you guys can see down into the box there. There's not a whole lot of packing materials, and there is a hole right there on the front of the box where it did rub on that the hose reel itself, but it didn't look like there was no damage done. So anyways, it comes with a basket and a bunch of goodies. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything out of here and just get it all out in the open. That way I'm gonna do an assembly, then I'm gonna put the hose on there, and you know, I'm gonna let you know, is it worth almost $400 or should I just continue buying the crappy ones? All right guys, so I've got everything pulled out of the box, and what bubble wrap that was in the box I went ahead and laid it down on the concrete so it don't scratch the unit up. Now I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you. That's the way I do my reviews. That's why people watch me, because they know I'm just gonna tell the truth. You know, if I was this company, I would pay a little bit more attention to wrapping the product. You know, if you're selling a $400 product, then you want it to come undamaged. And so I did notice that the reel here had just a little scratch. It wasn't bad. Everything else seemed to look great. I mean, the basket, stainless steel, and as far as the axles, they're stainless steel. And I tested all this stuff with a magnet, and sure enough, it is stainless, and it seems to be of good quality. The only other part that I was a little disappointed as far as the packaging was the handle right here. So I just want to give you a little close-up here of the handle. You can see there's a little scratch in the paint and right in there. So I was a little disappointed in that, and you can see some right there. Now, they wrapped the rubberized handle part up here so it wouldn't get scratched, and it probably didn't even need no wrapping on it, but they didn't wrap the part that's painted. Now the good news is it is not going to rust on you because it is stainless steel. There's a magnet, it doesn't stick to it, none of this. And so, you know, if it does get scratched, it's not going to rust like most of these would, but this might bother some of you. I just feel like for $400 they should package it a little bit better, and I'm sure by the time you guys order this product, I'm sure they'll see this video and I'm sure they'll take care of packaging this thing right where it's not going to get all scratched up. All right, so I just wanted to go ahead and start the assembly. Now I'll go ahead and tell you, the axles on this thing are made out of stainless, and they are heavy duty. There's no bending these. What you want to do is just slide the axle through that tube right there, slide it through the other tube, and then you want to take your wheel. And I gotta say, these are 10-inch wheels. They do have a bearing in them right there. It should last a lot longer. And what you want to do is just take, you can see right there, it's got a hole in it. You slide it through till it comes out the other side, and then you take this cotter pin, you see that hole right there, just slide it down on there, and that holds that wheel from coming off. And then it's the same thing With this one right here, you just slide it through there, put your cotter pin through the hole, and then now this axle is complete on this side. So next you just want to flip it over, do the same thing to the axle on the other side. So now I've got both axles installed, I've got all 4 tires installed, and now you can just set it up. Alright, so next we're going to put the handle on there, and you'll notice the handle has a curve. You'll want the curve to tilt away from the spool there. It'll angle back. Next, you want to take your hardware, and you've got the bolt here, and you'll have a flat washer on here. You'll take and put it in like this here, and feed it through to the other side, and you can see there's the threads. What you want to put on there next is the other flat washer, and then you put in your lock washer, and then next you put in your nylock. It goes on there just like that, and you don't have to worry about tools because they did supply you with the tools. The head of the bolt uses a hex key, and then the nut there, it's a 10mm. Now I do have to say that the hardware seems to be of good quality, doesn't seem cheap. So once you're done tightening the hardware up, it'll look just like the hardware down the side here, and on the inside it'll look the same as the hardware on the inside. So go to the other side, repeat this step. Alright, so I've got both of the bolts and the nuts tightened up on the handle there, and then next we're going to put the basket, the stainless steel basket, and it fits right here on the back of the handle just like that, and it gives you a place to put all your hose nozzles and all that, and your gloves and just whatever you want to stick in there. Alright, so you can see I went ahead and got the bolt through the basket right there. I'm just going to show you on this one. Alright, so next you want to hold the bolt from the back. You're going to slide on the flat washer, your lock washer, and then again they're going to give you a little nylock nut, and you're going to put that on there, and you're going to use the supplied Allen key and the 10mm wrench to tighten everything up. It just takes a second. Now the good thing about this, like I said, all the hardware is the same length that you'll be using, so there's no guesswork into which bolt and nut goes on where. It's all the same ones. And then I'm going to go back and tighten this side up here. So I gotta say, the next part is the crank, and it fits here on the front of the hose reel. And I gotta say, as soon as I picked this thing up, I was like, wow, that is really nice. It's stainless steel, it's an 1/8 inch thick, and you can see right here it's threaded, and it looks like they TIG welded it all the way around the side there. And I mean, it looks nice and secure. And then the handle is made from Bakelite. I remember reading that on the information. So yeah, that's pretty neat. This is like the old-timey Bakelite radios and stuff from like the 60s. So I didn't know they still use that. It spins real free, and the way that you put this on is you can see right here that there's threads, and right behind that is a bearing. So this thing should spin nice and free. So what you want to do is take and slide this on there, and righty-tighty. And like I said, there's a lot of threads on there for it to slide into, and you can see right there it's almost bottomed out. All right, there we go, nice and tight. So yeah, very impressed with that. It looks really good. It's got a spring right here, so this just keeps the hose reel, the spool, from moving forward and backward. It just keeps tension on it right there, when you're pushing it through the yard, and when you're pulling the hose off of it, that spring just keeps it from bouncing and vibrating. And then right in here you've got this clamp, and that's to hold your bearing there. And again, it's made out of stainless steel, and there is some sort of plastic or nylon bushing right there behind that spring. And you can see that the axle that goes through the spool there, it is stainless as well. And then here on the back you can see the same build quality. You can see right here there's that same bushing, and then this joint right here, that's stainless steel. And then you get over here, and this is brass, and I gotta say that's probably the biggest brass fitting that I've ever seen. And that thing looks like it is made very, very well. I mean, seriously, you won't find one like that that's that thick and that solid at no big box store, I can promise you that. So I gotta say the thing really is built like a tank, and you know, I think it looks good. Now my girlfriend said she didn't like the finish on it, but I do, because think about it, if you're putting this in up against your house near the plants and things like that, you want it to kind of blend in, and this has like a wood grain finish on it, and the inside is like a medium to brown, and the outside that you guys are seeing there is like a dark brown. But it, like I said, it's got that wood grain finish, and I think it looks really nice. The paint finish that's on there is said in the information that it was a baked on automotive style paint. So, you know, I just wish they would have packaged this handle a little bit better, because literally that's really the only damage that I've seen, and that little bitty mark there on the spool, and it's not even hardly noticeable. But I gotta say, as far as the actual unit itself, I mean, it's very well built. Now, it does have some goofy stuff that it comes with. It comes with a pair of medium gloves. Probably won't use those. And it does come with a little spray nozzle. So, you know, it seems to be pretty decent. You know, I haven't tried it yet, but I mean, it seems like it should be, you know, pretty decent run-of-the-mill type of sprayer. And it comes with your Allen key, your wrench, 10 and 12 millimeter wrench. Comes with an extra cotter pin and an extra hardware, and then it comes with some O-rings for your attachment for your garden hose attachment. I'll show you that here in a minute. And then it looks like there's some sort of sealant right here, and then they give you a 10-foot long leader hose. It's got like a braid on the outside of it, so you know, I don't know what to think about it. I've never used this type before, so I can't really tell you. All the hoses I've ever used have been like the rubber ones. I have used the expandable type, but this one here seems like it's a little bit different. This one just has like a nylon braid, kind of like you know, fuel lines on like a race car or something like that. And then these the hose ends here, they're made out of aluminum. You can just tell they're lightweight. Yeah, they're definitely aluminum. And this thing here is a total of 10 foot in length. Now, right in here, you can see that I said that was a brass fitting there, and then this fitting here, I believe, is aluminum. I'm pretty certain it's aluminum. I could be wrong. It could be brass, but if that is aluminum, you know, I would change that up if I was the company and make that brass as well, because when you got dissimilar metals, it can cause corrosion. But like I said, I'm not real sure if it's brass or if it's aluminum. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's aluminum, but you know, I don't want to say for 100%. But what you do is, you can see you've already got your rubber O-ring in there. This is your male thread. You want to feed it into the female thread, and then just do righty-tighty. I do have to say, I do like the hose ends, because you don't need any tools to tighten it up or loosen it. I mean, it should be able to do it all with your hands for the most part. Yeah, I was able to get it pretty tight. So next, you want to take your garden hose that you're going to hook to this reel and get you some rubbing alcohol on a rag, and just take and wipe about the first 10 to 12 inches of the hose nice and clean. Make sure there's no debris or nothing on it, and get it all cleaned. Let it dry for just a second, and then they give you this tape here. I thought it was sealant at first, but it's actually tape. And the reason they want you to use this tape on that hose is because right here where you slide your hose through the hole, it could cause it to wear a hole in the hose. So they want you to put a couple layers of this tape on there to prevent the wear. Now this right here just seems like a clear tape, and it said to put several layers and to wrap the like the first 10 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and get it wrapped up nice as we can. All right, you guys can see I put that whole spool of that tape on there, and I'm just gonna kind of break it right in there. And you can see I went multiple times, several layers thick on there, so that there's no chance that it's gonna rub for a long time. And then I'm just gonna go back and squeeze it and make sure that it's adhered really good on there. And then next, what you want to do is take the hose, feed it up through the hole here, just like this. And you want to take and connect the two the two hoses together. Now here's where you're probably going to need a pair of pliers. These are just to hold on to my garden hose, and then on the other side I can tighten it up with my hands. Now you might need to use some pliers if your hands are not as strong as mine. And yeah, right now is where that basket's kind of getting in my way a little bit. You know, if it does, you can always take and pull your hose right up here where you can work on it a little bit easier. And so that should be nice and tight. And now you're just going to feed the hose back through the spool there. All right, guys, so you're going to take this little hose that they've provided. You're going to put your hose through here and join them together. And this part here is just to keep it from kinking. And then you've got this little arm, this little metal arm with a bolt right there. And it just fits right over top of your hose, and right where you wrapped it, it's just there to protect that clamp right there from tearing into the hose. And then right in there where this you know, jots out, it just prevents it from tearing into the hose. So now all you do is just take your wrench, get it on the side where it uses a 12 millimeter, and you're just going to tighten this one little bolt up and until it gets nice and tight on your hose. Now if you've got a ratchet and sockets, you know, this might be just a little easier for you, or if you need to remove the basket. All right, now she's nice and tight, and you can see that this little arm here is just holding that hose right in place. All right, so we went ahead and connected my water hose to the hose reel here, and the hose that I'm using is a Craftsman 5/8 of an inch hose. And it says that you can put up to 300 feet on here. Now if you're using the larger 3/4 inch hose, it can only accommodate 200 feet, so just keep that in mind. But that's a lot of hose, and the reason I wanted something like this is because here at my house, whoever built it, they only put one water hose outlet here in the back, and so get all the way around the house you need a couple hundred feet at least. And you know, this is, you know, just makes it a lot easier to have that much water hose, and that way you got it thrown in the yard and, you know, piling up next to the house. And so anyways, you can see right here where I've got the tape where it comes through, and here's where I'm just going to take my time and just go ahead and feed the hose on to the spool, and try not to kink it. And you just take your time for the first line of hose, and that way, you know, you keep it on here nice and tight, and that way you can fit, you know, all 300 feet of the 5/8 and the 200 feet of the 3/4 inch hose. So you can see I've got it put together. I've got all the hose on there. I've got about 250 feet of hose. That's all that I've got. That I could easily fit another 50 foot on there, but you can see that, you know, right here on the side of the basket, it's got a place to just stick your hose in, whether it be the hose off of the reel there, or just the extra hose, you know, from the 10-foot hose that they give you to hook to the spigot on the side of your house. So, but I gotta say, the thing looks really good. I love the way that it looks. The only thing that I could see that it could stand to use would be maybe like a brake, you know, or a lock or something. So when you push it, this thing don't want to spin. So it doesn't have that, but what I do is just take my hose, hook it in here, and hook it in the other side, and then just put this down in the basket. It should pretty much stay out of the way. I mean, you might have to hold it with your hand like this right here, but as far as rolling it, it don't have any problems rolling. I mean, this thing's built solid, and I mean, literally, this ain't no flat yard. It's real rough, and I hadn't mowed the grass yet for this reason. I wanted to be able to test it out. But I mean, even with that heavy hose on there, there's three garden hoses on there, so you know, it's pretty daggone heavy, but it does roll good. And I like the fact that I don't have to worry about the tires going flat. So you can see right here on the ground, I've got rocks right here in my flower bed, and this is where I've curled my hose up for the last couple of years. And you can see that it traps all the leaves, and it just makes a freaking mess. And I'm so glad to get this this hose just up off the ground. because it's like a catch-all for dirt and leaves and all that. Anyways, this is a perfect area right beside my solar panels, right here at my faucet there. And so I'm going to leave it right here to the edge of the concrete. That way it can't roll down into the yard. And then I'm going to use this 10-foot long leader hose to go ahead and connect it to the faucet there. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the faucet on. And I've not checked it for leak. So if you guys want to look around here, I don't see any leaks thus far. Like I said, I haven't tested it yet. I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to leak. Now I didn't switch over the handles because I got quick disconnects. This is the handle that I already had on there. But look at that, that's nice. No leaks, at least not right there at the hose reel. My little nozzle's leaking there. Guess it's time to replace it. But as far as the hose reel, again, you can see it's under pressure and there's no leaks anywhere. And that way when I need to wash off my solar panels, I can take it all the way down through here. No problem. Of course, as much rain as we've been getting here in Tennessee lately, we hadn't need to wash the solar panels a whole lot. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen it a little bit and then go ahead and tighten it up. You can see how easy this thing. Simple as that. Since there's no brake on it, I just take and wind the hose around, hook it right there, and then I take and hook it right there, and that way it just kind of keeps it from, you know, unwinding, and then I just push it back in its location over here. Alright, so just wanted to say that this air hose reel comes with a 10-year warranty. I don't know what that consists of. I just seen it in some of the paperwork. And then also I wanted to say that this thing is rated at 15 million revolutions without leakage. I don't know how they can come up with that, but hey, it's not leaking right now. I've been sitting here with it for 5 minutes or so with pressure on it, and there's no leakage anywhere. And you know, I can't say what this will do a year from now or what, but I can say that it is stainless steel, so it shouldn't rust. I can say that the tires ain't gonna go flat, and I can say that the frame is very thick. It's a lot thicker, it seems like, than some of the cheaper hose reels like you would get from like Tractor Supply and Home Depot. These just seem a lot thicker and well made. And as far as the axles, they're stainless. Everything on here is just heavy duty. And this fitting back here, I mean, literally guys, that fitting that's made out of brass, that thing is very beefy. So this thing's built like a tank, and you know, I'm excited to see how long it'll last. And you know, if you guys are interested, just ask me down in the comments, hey, how's the hose reel doing? Is it still good shape? And I'll respond to you. I don't care. And then also, like I said, all the leaves and stuff was gathering right here in dirt on my patio and then the rocks right here. So now, since the 10-inch wheels lifted up off the ground, now I can get in here with a blower and blow all the leaves and dirt. And that just makes it a lot nicer when you're trying to clean up. So anyways, if you're interested in this product, I'll put a link for it down in the description. I am an Amazon affiliate. I've got a link in the description. It'll help you find the product. It won't cost you any more to buy it from my link than if you just was to try to find it yourself. The name of the brand right here says Persevere there on the handle. And you know, like I said, I don't know much about it other than putting it together. Everything seemed to be first class. My only complaint was literally they should package it a little more carefully and make sure nothing gets scratched up. Other than that, I don't have any complaints with this thing at all. It's very well built, and you know, as long as it doesn't leak and cause me any problems, then I would buy it. I mean, literally, I know that's a lot of money to spend on a hose reel, but if you're looking for something that's going to last, that you don't have to keep fooling with year after year, then, you know, hopefully this will be a good one. Like I said, I cannot speak for longevity, but from what I've seen here today, seems like a really nice hose reel. So get it and try it, and if you don't like it, you can always send it back. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you're interested, check out that link, that affiliate link down below, and it'll take you right to it. Until next time, guys, see ya.